meeting to order and ask everyone to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The roll, please.
Belke, Belzak,
Here.
Clistic,
Here.
Kenny,
Here.
Marquez,
Here.
McIver, Shower,
Here.
5 present, 2 absent.
We have a quorum. The next item is questions, comments, and announcements of a general nature. Do any of the aldermen have questions, comments of a general nature at this that you'd like to state now? Yes.
Last Thursday night, Chief Greg Thomas visited the Darien Lions Club for a dinner meeting. And Greg spoke for about a half hour, introduced himself as our secret guest for the night, and did a beautiful job of presenting his background as well as some of his goals for the City of Darien Police Department. And the response was overwhelmingly positive. Guys were extremely happy to know that he was on board here in Darien. So kudos to you, Chief, for a great presentation, and thank you for coming.
Thank you. Did anyone in the audience want to address the council at this time? It can be on any subject matter. Come on up to the microphone. It doesn't have to be on any item that's on the agenda this evening. It can be any subject matter. Just let us know who you are.
Jerry Mueller from Woodmere. First, I'd like to make a comment, which is to thank the members of the board for the meeting we had with the townhome owners. Obviously, there is a lot of concern. Secondly, my question is about that development also. What does the council see as a positive tax revenue impact from that development?
I don't think we really look at it that way in the first place. Yes.
Yeah, I think also, Mayor, from standpoint, it's a little bit premature. It hasn't gone to committee yet.
Yeah.
So the staff, while they've looked at the plans for zoning, there's been no kind of impact in terms of the valuation, the taxes it would generate. That has not been done. Correct, Dan? Dan,
Fair.
that's
That is
correct.
correct, yes.
Can we just go positive or negative?
I don't understand positive or negative.
Would you see a positive influence on tax revenue as a total once the building is developed and occupied?
Well, our greatest source of revenue in the city is our sales tax. We have over $5 million in sales tax.
Right.
This kind of development is not going to generate sales tax.
That's what I was
Yeah.
curious about.
So is it a great coup for us to get this?
I was just looking for something positive to share with my neighbors.
Well, it is something more than we are getting currly from the property.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would go
Yeah.
out on a limb.
Agreed.
there.
As I mentioned to the residents when they were all here, we have known the owner of that property for a very long time.
I'm very familiar.
Yes, and we had such great ideas and presented to her, but evidently none of them were to her liking, so we are amazed that she's accepted this one.
And I've seen those over the years, and I've been behind every one of them, and I'm behind this one too.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mueller.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Dan?
I would just like to add one thing, Jerry, is if and when this development goes through, the residual effect of the employees will have a positive effect on retail as well, whether it's Walmart, the eating establishment. So while there is a residual effect, it is positive from that perspective.
That's true.
Thanks
Yeah.
for adding that. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Okay. If there's no other communications from the audience, I'd like to move on to the approval of the minutes of April 4th, 2016. Do I have a motion to approve? Alderman Marquez, seconded by Alderman Belzak. Any additions or deletions for the clerk? The roll, please.
Marquez,
Aye.
Belzak,
Aye.
Clistic,
Abstain.
Kenny,
Aye.
Shower,
Aye.
4 ayes, 1 abstention. The abstention goes with the ayes and 2 absent.
The minutes have been approved. The next item is receiving of communications. Do aldermen have any communications to share? Alderman Kenny?
I do, Mayor. Good evening. I received a communication from Stan Nemec on the 7100 block of Hudson on Saturday afternoon regarding an invoice that was left at his residence from Groot's Disposal Company saying that his garbage has been switched over. We gave the email directly over to Paul Nosek, and he's going to explain a little bit about it now.
Yes, thank you, Alderman Kenny. Apparently Downers Grove Township contracted with Groot, and anybody in their, on their address list was sent a bill for garbage services, and apparently that list was incorrect. I'm working with Downers Grove Township to get that corrected, so any Darien residents who receive that invoice disregard and do not pay that invoice.
I was going to say, that that street is one of our, confused streets, so to speak, because one portion is unincorporated and one is Darien, so.
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank the Eisenhower Junior, Amy Youngberg, Eisenhower Junior High, and the Career Day individuals who worked and created Career Day. It was my pleasure to be with the young sixth graders Friday morning, telling them about government. And I don't know if you've ever done something like that, but it always seems very rewarding to be with the young folks. So thanks to Eisenhower Junior High and Amy for inviting me for a second year. I really appreciated being there. If there's no other communications, let's move to the mayor's report, and we have our Claire Bongiovanni's on the agenda this evening.
Good evening. The Darien Chamber of Commerce welcomes new member Old Fashioned Sweets, Inc., located in the Chestnut Court Shopping Center. This darling candy store has everything sweet you can imagine. Be sure to check it out. Brew and Chew, Darien's first indoor ale fest, will be held this Saturday from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. at Chuck's. The evening will showcase tastings from the following breweries: our very own Miskatonic Brewing Company, Alter Brewing Company, Church Street, Lagunitas Brewing, Gordon Biersch, Exit Strategy Brewing Company, Pollyanna Brewing Company, Goose Island Beer Company, Ale Syndicate, Bell's Inspired Brewing, 1090, Urban Legend Brewing Company, Buckle Down Brewing, Illuminated Brew Works, Noon Whistle Brewing, and wine from Cooper's Hawk. Chuck has designed a delicious chews for the event. Reservation options are $50 VIP, which allows you to sample the beer 1 hour before general admission, and you also receive a swag bag. $40 general admission, and then $15 for designated driver. To secure your spot at this event, register online at darienchamber.com. The next DCC Coffee Connection early morning networking event will be held April 26, 8 a.m. at First Merchants Bank. Darien Chamber Women in Business invites you to their Trace de Mayo networking event on May 3rd from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at Mi Hacienda. The 16th annual Darien Dash will be held on May 15th at Darien Community Park. We are very excited to announce that the Gift of Carl Foundation has qualified for $2,000 in the Non-for-Profit Award. We're looking forward to having a Darien school qualify too. Just a reminder, online registration closes at 11:59 on May 12th. Swag bag pickup will be held here at City Hall on Friday, May 13th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday, May 14th from 8 a.m. to noon. Register online at darien-.com or in person at the Darien Park District. The Chamber is in need of volunteers to help out at Darien Dash. For more information, you can call me at 630-968-0004. The Darien Chamber is hosting their annual multi-chamber progressive luncheon at Chuck's Cafe on Tuesday, June 14th. And at this time, we have a guest in the house. I'd like to introduce Brian Hart from the Darien Swim and Recreation Club.
Hello.
Hi.
I've been a long time Darien resident, and when we first moved out here, myself and my wife, she loved just seeing the pool. And we had to wait to get on it, and she just loved. We finally got on it like a year later, Loved it ever since. And since then, this is my first year really joining up, and I'm with the membership committee now. And right now is our big kickoff. We are sent out mailers for membership. You have up to May 15th to join at an early bird special. After that, it goes up. We do have a pancake breakfast that same day, May 15th, same day as Darien Dash. And it's $5 for adults. Kids under 5 are free. Basically, the pool does have a lot of different things. We're probably the only pool in the area that still has low and high dives. We do have features like, the grills are awesome. If you don't like concessions, bring your own food. You can grill, and then if you want, you don't have to buy the pop there. You can bring in cans from outside, and adults, they can bring in their beverages as long as they're in cans. Basically, it's a great way to meet all your new neighbors. That's why we want to get the word out there, because there is some new people coming to the area, and we do with our mailer. Some people are missed, and some people that left a few years ago want to come back. There isn't really any borders as long as you join, okay? And it's just a very fun time. I mean, if we start Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend, we finish up Labor Day weekend basically like any other pool. Do see a lot of the aldermen are in it, so if they don't like the way they vote, you can push them in the deep end and nobody will say anything. Okay. Basically, really just want to get the word out right now, and that's about it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Claire, I have a question for you, too. Thank you. Good luck on your campaign. Okay. Claire, I emailed you a while ago how much money you make off of the Darien Dash.
Yes.
And you gave me some numbers.
Yeah.
What were those again?
Well, it kind of fluctuates. Like,
Yeah.
we've gone from 1,500, the lowest, up to like maybe 8,000 or 9,000, the highest.
Okay.
It depends. Like last year, we were really down because we took away the 1 mile, and it all depends on how much sponsorship we get. Like, if we're really low in sponsorship, that doesn't help us pay our expenses, that we have to execute the event. So, this year our sponsorship is down again. But we're hoping with the 1 mile that we
Bring it
recover.
back.
But also we're giving out $4,000 instead of $2,000, and we had one qualify, so I'm not sure what's
Well,
going to happen
that was my
this year.
point. How much money you make of that, and then how much of that you give away. So
In the past, we
that was
gave
my point,
2,000. Yeah. This year, to get more involvement, we included the organizations, to try to give, because we really haven't been giving. No one's really been qualifying. Lace qualified a couple times, and Our Lady of Peace qualified once. But, the reason for doing the fundraiser is to give back to the community.
That was my point, is how much, and even with Darien Fest, how much you guys give back to the community. We had this debate during the budget process, and the council decided not to help take care of the expenses for Darien Fest. But I just wanted to get that point across, how much you do give back to the community.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Claire.
Okay.
Claire, quick question. When you say qualify, what do you,
Okay, you have to have a minimum of 35 registered, so everybody can qualify, but then the organization or the school who has above and beyond the most registered,
To
they
run.
get the money.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now, the organizations, I think DYC is right behind the Gift of Carl. And then for the schools, actually Hinsdale South has 17 and Lace has 17. They're a little behind, but every day, when I get these registrations, I go in there, I get all excited to see how the numbers are going up. But, most of the people here in Darien, they wait to see how the weather is, especially if the little ones are involved. But I'm hoping that one of the schools, will qualify.
Yeah. Thanks, Claire.
Any other
Thank-
questions?
yeah.
Claire, what is taking place at First Merchant Bank on the 26th? Is that a luncheon or something?
Oh, DCC Coffee Connection. DCC Coffee Connection was created by our ambassador committee, and it's really taking off well. So it's early morning, so we can try to include some of the retail. So each time, different banks will sponsor this. They provide the coffee and whatever, sweets or whatever. So you come to this event and you get the floor for like a good 10 minutes. And, let's say it's Ted. So Ted talks about his business. And then we could all ask questions, and you learn, it's amazing how much you learn about another person's business by giving them the time on the floor to talk about it. So it's really great. It's a great event, and we're getting a lot of people. So, we just do it every month.
And your progressive lunch is what date?
The Progressive Luncheon is June 14th, and actually this year, this has grown. We have Darien, Hinsdale, Lyle, Westmont, Homer Glen, and Lamont.
Wow, good. Homer Glen, that's a reach.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm part of the West Suburban Chamber Executives, and she's part of that group.
Okay.
And, our members love to network with other people. So if you go to a luncheon, that's why we used to do these monthly luncheons, but, it was dwindling down in numbers because like, okay, I know what you do. We're a smaller chamber. And when we do these, multi-chamber events, the members love it because they're, reaching out, and expanding and networking with all different kinds of people. So we've been hosting this luncheon for a good 10 years, and I just continue to grow it every year.
Thanks, Claire.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's move to the city clerk's report.
I just wanted to remind everyone that if you received a request from DuPage County to fill out your statement of economic interest, the deadline is May 2nd, and also the city's ethics statement is due May 1st.
When did you pass that out, the ethics statement for Darien?
Number of weeks
I have
ago.
one right here.
It was in our mailboxes.
Where, was it in our mailbox?
They gave out hard copies.
Yes, the city gives hard copies. The county, it was electronically.
I need to get a copy then,
The
because,
cities was sent out on March 21st of
yeah,
this year.
and you know what? After I did the economic interest for the county, I thought, where is my city one?
I'll-
Can you get a repeat for me?
Sure, I'll
Thank
ask
you.
Maria.
Thank you. Okay, anything else?
No, that's
Okay.
all I'm done.
Okay. City administrator's report?
No report, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Department head information. Chief, did you want to go over the monthly report?
Sure.
Thanks for all that information about all the different organizations. That was good.
I'll talk about that real briefly then. Start off with on the 15th of this month, which is usually tax day, but I think today's actual tax day, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Get your taxes filed. On 4/15, about 10:30 at night, Darien police officers responded to the 7700 block of Barclay for a burglary to motor vehicle. A short distance from the scene, the officers stopped two 15-year-olds and did locate proceeds from that car burglary on those kids.
Wow.
And wound up charging them and turning them over to their parents. On the monthly report, it actually looks pretty good with burglary to motor vehicle. I think we've only had one since the beginning of the year. The one in April, which I just spoke about, would not be on there, but pretty low count on burglary to motor vehicles. We're looking good there. As the mayor spoke, I took the opportunity this time around to talk about many of the partnerships that we're involved in. It just happens it's into 2015, and these agencies will send out their annual reports. So I took gleaned some information from those annual reports. And as taxpayers and as city administrators, however that looks, whether it's an elected official or appointed position, it's always important to be good stewards of the taxpayers' money. So I took an opportunity to talk about that a little bit. DUCOM is the agency that we use to answer our 911 calls. They do a great job. They answered over 200,000 emergency calls and 1.1 million non-emergency calls for countywide, not for Darien. They did do a little over 41,000 calls for us in Darien for police, and I believe there was over 2,000 calls that they handled within Darien for fire and EMS services. Several years ago, I think it was 2010 or 2011, Darien switched from their own PSAP, 911 answering center, to DUCOM. And looked at the different costs. It looks like it saves the city and the taxpayers a little over $100,000 a year for that move. And really you see no real change in operations because of that change. One of the things I took an opportunity just not to talk about money, but also operations shortly. said a lot of people call the 911 system and they get very frustrated, but I want people to understand when you call 911, there's usually two people that are handling that call. There's a call taker and a dispatcher. There's a computer-aided dispatch program, it's software. So when that call comes in, the first thing they'll do is get that location and the type of call, and then they'll start getting a bunch of pieces of information depending on the type of call, in progress, not in progress, weapons, no weapons, injuries, no injuries, all those different types of things you're going to triage in order to set priority to that call and get all the necessary resources to that scene. So the person dialing 911 doesn't understand that because they don't dial very often, which is a good thing. But it is very frustrating when you're on the phone thinking, I just want the police here, and why is this person asking me so many questions? But rest assured, all those things are going on. Last week was National Telecommunications Week, so if you didn't say thank you to your 911 operator, please do so. We also partner with FIAT, it's Felony Investigation Assistance Team. That is a very good price as well. We pay $3,500 for that privilege, but that's a partnership as well. So we are both a benefactor of, but we also contribute to. Probably the most easiest example is the most recent issue at the Walmart in December. It was a tremendous scene to have to deal with just with Darien resources. To have the ability to call Fiat and have their evidence processing, the witness interviews, all those different types of things, all the follow-up was tremendous and way beyond $3,500. So it was a good thing for us, and it's a good thing for our citizens. DUMEG is the DuPage County Metropolitan Narcotics and Dangerous Drug Enforcement Group. Countywide, they did 286 cases and arrested 222 subjects in DuPage County, not in Darien. You know, there's a lot of different political talk on drugs, and it's a nonviolent crime, it's a victimless crime, all these different types of things. Not to get in a big political debate about that topic, but a lot of times where there's drugs, there's violence in order to protect their drug sales and marketing. There's also a lot of property crime in order for people to afford the drugs that they normally can't afford through legitimate working. So there is a lot of residual type of crime that happens, not just the drug crime itself. So this is something that we do want to take care of. We've talked about heroin on a number of cases, number of times. And we had talked about the, or I didn't talk about it, well now, DUMEG did arrest a Darien resident for delivery of heroin late last year. No, early this year, March, just this past March. We also belong to the Drug Enforcement Administration, DEA. Similar argument and discussion that we just had with DUMEG. It's very important to control the drug market. Another additional feature of belonging to the DEA is the drug asset forfeiture program. To date, we have spent nearly $275,000. There's a lot of different pieces of equipment that the police have bought, so next time you say hi to your local neighborhood drug dealer, tell them thank you for all the stuff that they've purchased and keeping down the cost to the city, because the city didn't have to buy those items, so it's a nice thing. In closing, the partnerships, you know, they're very important. I went through the different things, but you know, the everyday work that the officers do and the support staffs do is tremendous. You know, none of those things would work. You know, DUCOM can exist, but if there's not police and all the other resources to send those scenes, it doesn't matter. You know, the police officers are out there every day, so appreciate that opportunity to say thanks to them publicly as well. If anybody has any questions over the monthly report, talk about that as well.
I really appreciate you going into detail about what the call taker and the dispatcher are doing, because, yeah, I can understand why somebody would be frustrated. They don't realize that the call taker is taking all this information while this dispatcher is getting the police officers or EMTs out there to the site. So that, I think that's important for residents to know that information, so thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
You know, also, you said that we've spent $275,000. How much have we made because of the asset forfeiture
I think
program
there's still about 118,000
that we still have available?
So whatever that math is.
And we're very, it's
380,
very
almost 400,000.
specific what we can spend the money on,
Correct.
too, so. Okay. Alderman Kenny, did you have a question?
Chief, I noticed an increase in vehicle lockouts at 3,500%. Any idea what the contributing factor is? Why one in March of 2015 and 36?
No, I think, personally, I think it's the one in March of 2015 that's the anomaly. If you look at year-to-date, we've had 101 year-to-date this year. Okay. So, and 70 last year, which is 44% increase. So the 3,500 doesn't really mean much to me. But the 44% still quite a bit of increase.
Thank you.
You know, it still seems that domestic violence it tends to be our largest crime in the city of Darien. Do we have officers that are trained into handling these kind of situations?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
How many officers do we have trained at this
I believe
point?
there's 3.
3, okay. Alderman Clistic?
Yes, just a quick question. A while ago, I had to dial 911. There was a car accident on I-55, and one thing I noticed, the phone call got transferred. So is that something different in general that they did Illinois State Police 911? So the accident was on I-55 they reported, and then they just transferred the call to, I guess, the Illinois State Police dispatch. So
It depends where that call originates. When you're in a cell phone, it's going to hit one of those towers, and wherever that tower is associated to is where that 911 call is going to be. So you could be within Darien, dial 911, but you're going to hit a tower that's associated to an agency outside of Darien, and so you may hit a different thing. Also, even though it's you might call and hit Darien, because the dispatch is going to be the state police to I-55, they're going to transfer that call to the PSAP that's responsible.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Chief? Yes.
Mayor, just, Chief, for a while, the asset forfeiture was on hold, and that's back in progress now and in the works?
Yeah, they discontinued the asset forfeiture program. It was very short-lived. I think
Yeah,
it
it
probably
was.
was about
Yeah.
3 or 4 months at most. And any monies that were forfeited during that time is still going to come to the various cities and counties that are part of that partnership. So that's all back to operation as normal.
Did our officers stay with the Drug Enforcement Agency while that
Oh,
was?
yes. Mhm.
He did, okay.
Yep.
So it wasn't a case of that person coming back to our staff to work and then going back to the
No,
DEA?
it always stayed.
Okay,
Yep.
all right.
And then, Mayor, I'm sorry, one other item. The Chief mentioned the dispatching, the switch from our local dispatch to DUCOM. In addition to those savings, and this was prior to the Chief being here, there was, we were partnered with Lyle at the time, at the end of that, and there was also about a fund balance of about $400,000 or so that came back to the city once we joined DUCOM. So that was some extra inflow of cash we had. And in addition, when we, at that point before joining DUCOM, we did an equipment analysis, and there was a large expense we would have needed to purchase over the next amount of years. So those things, in addition to what the Chief mentioned, make that savings actually very, very significant. 100,000 significant, but really significant when you add in the balance in the equipment we would have needed to purchase.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Dan, did you have a report for us?
Not this evening, Mayor.
I think Alderman Kenny has a question
I
for
do,
you.
I do have a question, and it's related to our warrant this evening. There's an item on there for $1,892.82 to Decker Supply for mailbox posts. Can you give an explanation of, you know?
Sure, what that supplier is for the black powder coated poles that we use to assemble mailboxes. Those mailboxes, we assemble them and then we sell them to residents. The cost back to residents approximately $96, and that includes additional components. We also, in part of that, replace mailboxes due to snow plow hits and or construction projects that's we need to replace the mailboxes on.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
Let's move to the treasurer's report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This evening, I'm asking council to approve warrant number 151623, the amount of $430,844.18 from the listed funds, and payroll for the period ended March 31st, 2016, in the amount of $239,238.15, for a total to be approved of $670,082.33.
Do I have a motion to approve? Alderman Belzak, second by Alderman Kenny. Any questions for the treasurer? I noticed that the warrant number is 23. We're going to have one more for the fiscal year?
Probably have a couple more, because as the bills come in relating to this fiscal year, we'll probably be doing two warrants, one for this current fiscal year and one for the
The next
subsequent
one.
fiscal year,
Okay.
till we get them cleaned up, probably until about the end of May, early June, when
Oh,
the
okay.
auditors come in for final field work.
Okay, thank you. If there's no questions, the roll, please.
Belzak.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
Marquez.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 absent.
The warrant has been approved. Did you want to go over the monthly report?
Revenue expenditure report for the 11 months ended March 31st reflects general fund revenue year-to-date of $13,574,593, expenditures of $9,922,962, current fund balance $4,268,773. Water fund year-to-date revenue of $5,576,289, expenditures of $6,091,862, fund balance of a deficit of $481,554. Motor fuel tax fund year-to-date revenue $525,615, expenditures $567,178, current balance of $240,525. Water depreciation fund year-to-date revenue $350,063, expenditures of $126,543, current balance of $98,189. Capital improvement fund year-to-date revenue $2,363,938, expenditures of $3,414,453, current fund balance of $4,636,942, and capital projects debt service fund balance, like amount of revenue expenditures of $507,236 with no current balance.
Any questions for the treasurer on that monthly report? Then let's move on to standing committee reports. Alderman Shower?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Our next admin finance meeting will be held on Monday, May 2nd at 6 p.m. in our upstairs meeting room.
What date was that?
Monday, May 2nd.
That's right, we mentioned it before, okay. Alderman Marquez?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The next Municipal Services Committee meeting is next Monday, April 25th at 6:30 here in the council chambers.
Okay, and yes,
And the Police Pension Fund will be having their quarterly meeting next Wednesday, April 27th at 7 p.m. across the street in the police training room. All are invited to review the quarterly performance of the investments in the Police Pension Fund, as well as any other issues that might come before the board.
Chief, do we have a date for a police committee meeting? I do, yeah, was there one?
It's May 16th.
Okay, 5/16. Okay. Okay, so we have all the committees accounted for. Let's move to questions, comments, agenda-related. Do any of the aldermen have questions on any of the items on the agenda this evening? I think we covered everything earlier. And there is no audience to ask questions, so I'll move to old business. And there being no old business, I'll read the items under the consent agenda. The first item is a motion to approve a resolution authorizing the destruction of audio recordings of closed executive session meetings. The next item is a motion to approve the release of executive session minutes that no longer require confidentiality. Do I have a motion to approve? Alderman Marquez, second Alderman Kenny. The roll, please.
Marquez.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Clistic.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 absent.
The items have been approved. Under new business, we have one item, a motion to approve a resolution waiving the competitive bid process and approving the 75th Street landscaping project in an amount not to exceed $71,000, including purchasing of landscape plantings from Hidden Gardens in the amount of $41,500, and approving installation services from Grade A Landscaping in the amount of $24,500, and approving a project contingency fund of $5,000. Do I have a motion to approve? Second by Alderman Clistic, second by Alderman Belzak. Kudos to you, Dan, for getting this. I'm trying to understand why the county's bid was so high, and then we could come in and do something with the same plantings.
I think part of it is some of the logistics of how far the landscaper was required to travel. I'm not sure where their landscaper, the awarded landscaper was out of, so obviously there's some logistics with trucking, time for their employees to come and go. So I think that's part of it. Again, while we attempted to negotiate with them, we just weren't able to come to a final agreement. And matter of fact, the gentleman that owns Hidden Gardens, he's a resident of Darien, so, and the grade A, has his business here in Darien on Wilmette. So I think there's some pride that they also took into consideration for this project as well.
Very good, very good. That's good to hear. Very good to hear. Any other questions for Dan? When are they going to start?
I need to time it with somewhat, they could start tomorrow, but I need to time some of it with the 75th Street lighting project, so we're not ahead of the lighting project, so I need to just to coordinate where the conduit is at, and but it should be relatively soon, because I know I want to make sure that the landscaper or the Hidden Gardens has the opportunity to tag the plants before they're gone.
I noticed that the light stands were, the bases for the light stands are being put in the median right now.
Correct. The foundations are being put in as we speak, and the conduits, so there's nothing really more to see other than stuff's going on behind the scenes, per se.
Okay. Thank you, Dan.
Welcome.
If there's no other comments, the roll, please.
Clistic.
Aye.
Belzak.
Aye.
Shower.
Aye.
Marquez.
Aye.
Kenny.
Aye.
5 ayes and 2 absent.
The item has been approved. Let's move to questions, comments, and announcements of a general nature. Does anyone on the council have questions, comments, announcements? Then I'd like to have a motion to adjourn. Alderman Kenny, seconded by Alderman Shower. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, you didn't jinx us too bad, Joe.
Not bad at all.
Turning the
Before the
microphones
meeting
on.
started, he said, this could be a short meeting. And that always jinxes us.
Famous last words.
A lot of long ones lately.
Except